All right. Hello, boys and girls of Berclair Elementary. This is Mr. Jones again with another fifth grade math lesson. We're going to have fun today. All right. Today we're going to be talking about volume with fractional units. All right. Your I can statement is multiply fractions to find the volume of a rectangular prism with fractional side lengths. Essential question. How does understanding area help to calculate volume? You're going to notice something about your standards today is that your standards are both fifth grade and sixth grade standards. That's right. But that doesn't mean that we're covering anything new today. What I want to communicate with you is that what you are learning in fifth grade transfers very well into sixth grade. In other words, you're prepared. And I'm going to show you that today with this lesson. My expectations for you, always try all problems with pencil and paper first. Remember, a calculator is a helper, and sometimes it can be a disabler. All right. So I want you guys to make sure that you're doing your own work. All right. I want you to watch the entire video. Email pictures of your work to the email in the description. Complete assigned lessons on KhanAcademy.org. I've assigned everybody lessons, so make sure that you're doing it. Everybody in fifth grade, every fifth grader has a KhanAcademy.org sign in and email. I want you to use it. All right. I want you to comment on at least two other peers' comments. And I want you to respond to all of your comments from peers. All right. It's going to get us a little student discussion going. All right. So I want to see that. Make sure that you're doing that in the chat room or comment section. All right. So I got some shout outs. I want to send some shout outs to these superheroes right here who actually emailed some work to me. This isn't everybody's work, but this is some of them. And I want to make sure that I acknowledge those students because you look at all this hard work. So if you think nobody's doing it, guess again. So I want to put the spotlight on Emily, Yahara, Jonathan, Louise, and Emmettith. All right. Great job. All right. Make sure that you guys are emailing your work to me. All right. So let's do some fluency. All right. I want you to write all of these down. And then I want you to pause the video and solve them all. Psych. Make your life a little easier. I want you to choose all the correct answers and post them in the comment section. All right. So just select among these which are correct and put those letters in the comment section. Go ahead and pause the video and do that now. All right. So I have a question for you. What's the difference between the images that you see here on the left and the images that you see over here on the right? What's the difference? That's right. All the images on the left are two-dimensional shapes, and the figures on the right are three-dimensional shapes. All right. So our two-dimensional shape, we calculate that by area. And the formula for area is what? Go ahead and put that in the comment section. Right. When we're talking about three-dimensional, we added a third dimension. What is that dimension? That's right, it's height. All right. So you may remember our formula. Volume equals area times height, or volume equals length times width times height. All right. Both of those are acceptable forms of the formula. All right. And I want you to notice that I am showing you different renditions of this formula on purpose because you're going to see it in different ways. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with A. All right. So we want to know the volume of this prism. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to count these centimeter cubes to see how many are here on the length. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we have a length of 5. What's the width? 1, 2. All right, so we have a width of 2. All right, it's the height. 1, 2. We have a height of 2. All right, so you should be able to see that here. Okay, and we've basically plugged in our formula now for volume, length times width times height. So we're able to go home now, right? No, we have to multiply those. All right, so let's work that formula. So what's 5 times 2? That's right, it's 10. What's 10 times 2? 20. Y'all geniuses. All right, so we've got 20 cubic meters here. All right, and if you actually took the time to count every cube in this prism, you'll see that there are 20 cubic meters. Let's go on down to B. All right, let's look at B. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 as my length. All right, what's my width? 1, 2. 2 as my width. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 as my height. All right, so we've plugged in the formula again for length times width times height. But we can't just go on vacation yet. We got to calculate that volume. We got to multiply 3 times 2, which is going to give us what? That's right, it's going to give us 6. Then we're going to multiply 6 times 4, which is going to do what? Y'all geniuses. All right, we're going to have 24 cubic meters. Notice that here, after we calculate the volume, when we get the volume, that is no longer just 5 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 20 centimeters. It's 20 cubic centimeters, because how many centimeters have you multiplied together? 3. All right, so it's 24 cubic centimeters. All right, let's do another one. Psych, you do it. All right, so I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video. Go ahead and fill in this section, and I want you to post it in the comment section. All right, let's take a look at my favorite prisms. All right, these are food trucks from our neighborhood. All right, the Berclair community, and I love food trucks, especially these. All right, and this third box this is my Xbox, of course. All right, you didn't think I had one, but I fooled you. All right, so my question for you is, if I wanted to fill in this truck with a number of these boxes, how many of these boxes would be able to fit on this truck? What do I need to know about this truck first before I go to just piling boxes in there? What would tell me that? That's right. Our volume. We want to know the volume of the truck. So we need to know the base, or the length, and the width. All right. So we need to know how big the floor area is. All right. And then we need to know the height as well. All right. So here you will notice that we're doing fractional size. All right. We're going to do them no different from the way that we did our whole number size, but guess what? It's still a little different, but not much different. In other words, you don't have anything to be afraid of. All right. So we have the volume equals base times height. All right. And I want you to remember, base is just another name, way of naming the area. Because if you think about it, in every three-dimensional figure, not every three-dimensional figure, I'm sorry, every three-dimensional rectangular prism figure, you'd have a two-dimensional flat surface floor, which consists of the length and the width, or the base. And that bottom part, we call it the base. All right. And so, in other words, when we say volume equals base times height, we're still saying volume equals length times width times height. Or you could have said volume equals area times height. All right. So don't let that throw you off if you see that on the test. All right. So what we just did here, we just plugged in our formula for volume. We understand that this is the length, this is the width, this is the height. All right. So that's what we have here. So what do we need to do next? It's a very interesting step when you're working with fractions, isn't it? That's right. We're going to convert all our mixed numbers into improper fractions. All right. So we need to make sure that we remember that process on how to do that. All right. And so keeping the same denominator, what's 5 times 3? 5 times 3 is 15. All right. Now you have 15 centimeters plus 1/3 centimeter. All right. And we're just rewriting the entire expression right here. 2/3 centimeters. Times 2/3 centimeters times 3/3 plus 1/3 centimeter. All right. Next, we're going to add them to make one improper fraction. So notice that 15/3 centimeters plus 1/3 centimeters equals what? 16/3 centimeters. Notice that I'm keeping these units. I went through the pain of keeping these units on purpose because I want you guys to always remember to keep your units. All right. All right. So 2/3 centimeters, we didn't add anything to that. So it remained 2/3 centimeters times what? 3/3 plus 1/3 equals 4/3 centimeters. All right. And we're going to perform the order of operations, all right, using the left to right, all right. That's a part of the order of operations. You don't necessarily see it in PEMDAS, but it's important that you know that these operations are usually done from what? Left to right. So this is no different. We're going to operate from left to right, but we see we have parentheses here. So sometimes it's hard to know where we start. So just remember, we're going to go from left to right. We're going to start at the top and we're going to work our way backwards. All right. So we're going to first multiply 16/3 times 2/3 centimeters. All right. And this product here, when we get the product of these two, we're going to multiply that times 4/3 centimeters. So everything is still here, but now we know how we're going to operate it. All right. So when we multiply 16 times 2, we got 32. When we multiply 3 times 3, we got 9. That's 32 9 centimeters times what? Did exactly what we said we're going to do. We're going to bring down that 4/3 centimeters and we're going to multiply those next. All right. So I want you to notice here, and we have a seemingly large number is 128/27 cubic centimeters. All right. And I said seemingly large because did the number actually get larger? I want you to think about that. All right. Also, I want you to simplify the final product. You never forget to simplify. All right. Unless the instructions tell you to render your answer, and sometimes they will say render your answer as an improper fraction. You make sure that you convert it into a mixed number, the most simplified version of that number. So you have a final product of 4 and 27 cubic centimeters. All right, that was a lot to say, but there it is. I know that some of you guys are not used to seeing things electronically. So what I did was doing double work just for you guys. Let me hide this. All right. Doing double work just for you guys. I wanted to make sure that if you're used to just seeing these things on the board, that you'll be able to relate to this lesson. So I went ahead and put it on the board. It's the same lesson. It's the same steps. It's just in Expo marker on the whiteboard. All right. So you can pause it and take notes of this. Here, I gave you two different ways also to see that multiplication strategy because even though we're still going from left to right. We can always use this form where basically we're just putting everything on the fraction bar. All right, and we're going to multiply 16 times 2 first again, 3 times 3, and we're going to multiply those products times 4 times 3. All right. Lastly, I want you to practice this. All right, here are just 2 prisms. All right, with fractional side lengths. I want you to practice these, do it on paper, and send it to my email. And you see my email right here. All right, and for more support, you can visit the link in the description of the video. TheKhanAcademy.org videos are there, and you'll be able to see this lesson done by Khan and others like it. All right. And I want to thank you guys for showing ownership. And I want you to remember that you got this. All right. And actually, really quick before we go, I just want to show you guys how to get onto Khan. So here are our classes right here. I told you I got everybody's class here. You can go down here to courses, 5th grade. And if you have not started, go here to multiply fractions. All right. And you will remember and be refreshed on all these things. All right. Because that's what we just got finished doing. All right. It's Mr. Jones. Y'all have a good one.